Welcome to the Typical Sportsman podcast. I've got one for you today. You're going to want to buckle up and listen close. I've got Mr. Kurt Belding, Western Obsession. He's a familiar voice on the TV, good friend of 2-0, and recently had a epic grizzly bear hunt in Alaska. So we're here to talk about that bear hunt, to talk about the film he produced for it. And it's one that you're going to want to listen to. We've got grizzly bear attacks. We've got gunshots going off everywhere. Let's put it this way. Things get a little Western, and it's a story that you need to hear. This episode is brought to you by 2-0. 2-0, in my opinion, makes, not even in my opinion, I would just say hands down, some of the best Western gear that you can get your hands on. And it's an incredibly sexy pattern. I have hunted in 2-0 in pretty much any kind of climate you can hunt in it, and it is performed every single time. I even pushed it in this very cold Kansas weather, just sitting in a tree stand. Kind of curious how it would do just sitting static in a tree stand all day. And I'll be honest, I got a little chilly, but it's also not meant to be sitting static in, 5-degree weather. So I did get a little chilly. However, the fact that I could sit for 7 hours in gear that is meant to be pushed on the mountain and be very active in was still impressive to me. So go check out 2-0 gear. You will be glad you did. Let's jump in with Mr. Kurt Belding and hear about this epic grizzly bear hunt.
For the true sportsman, it's more than a pastime. It's a way of life. Embrace the lifestyle of hunting, fishing, and the thrill of the wild. Live the life. Be typical.
If you are a traditional archer, then you are probably familiar with Three Rivers Archery. If you are an aspiring traditional archer, you've probably heard of Three Rivers Archery. And if you are even curious about traditional archery or hope to do it one day, you need to become familiar with Three Rivers Archery. Why? Because Three Rivers Archery is a wealth of knowledge on all things traditional archery. You can call those guys up, whether you're going to buy from them or not, and ask them any question under the sun, and they'll be able to help you. From spining of arrows to weights of broadheads to string links to AMO links, any question in between, tuning a bow, they are there to help you. They also sell everything you could ever dream of needing when being a traditional archer, from bows and arrows, broadheads, tabs, gloves, strings, stringers, cases, display racks. If it has to do with traditional archery, Three Rivers has it, and they know about the product. So you can call them and ask them any kind of question, and they're there to help you. They are the single largest distributor of all things traditional archery. They offer same-day shipping. They are phenomenal. Guys, if you are a traditional archer or you've ever even wanted to look in traditional archery, Three Rivers Archery is your place to go for all things traditional archery.
Hey, Dylan, thanks for having me, man. And you were just kind of talking about 2-0 gear. I'll add to that. We wear 2-0 here at Western Obsessions, and I'm a big fan of their gear, and I also think their pattern's very sexy. That's one thing I like about it. I think I look good. If you look good, you hunt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I know what you mean. It's it's a pattern that, the cool kid camo, and I'll say this. It's funny to me that the old school faded camo is now like making a comeback, not even in the hunting world, like in the pop culture world. My dad's like the coolest kid on the block now because all the middle school kids are wearing my dad's old school faded cotton camo. Yeah. And, but 2-0 is still that cool, sexy pattern that like you can wear anywhere. It looks good. But it also, the gear just simply performs. Like that's all there is to it. And, probably the most, and I've talked about this a lot, probably the most impressed I've ever been with rain gear is the 2-0 rain gear. A lot of times rain gear just doesn't hold up, and, you could blow through a couple sets of rain gear in a season. And there have been times where I'm busting through stuff and I'm like, there's no way this rain gear is going to hold up. Like I'm going to come off this mountain and there's going to be rips all in the rain gear. I'm going to be wet. And it is tough rain gear, dude. I've been so impressed with the rain gear. The merino is hands down world-class merino. I mean, some of the best merino I've ever used. And so I've been impressed with it at every turn. It's great gear, man.
Yeah. for sure. No, we definitely use the rain gear in Alaska. That's one place that you need a very good set of rain gear is Alaska.
100%. Yeah.
We definitely used that and it performed well. So yeah,
very cool,
stuff.
Man. So let's get into this grizzly bear hunt. First off, this wasn't a first grizzly bear hunt, correct?
It was actually. It was my first grizzly bear hunt, and I was very fortunate to be able to go on this hunt because this, if anybody knows anything about Alaska grizzly bear hunting, this is neat. If you're not a resident, this is a guided hunt. You have to go guided, and it could be a very expensive hunt. Like $30,000 to go on a grizzly bear hunt is pretty common, right? So I'm not the type of guy that can spend $30,000 to go on a grizzly bear hunt, and so I fell into it with a now great friend of mine, Ray, where we did some trading and some bartering and figured it out. So I was able to go and we filmed, and I almost died on this hunt, Dylan. It got very Western, as you preluded to. Yes.
Yeah. So first off, congratulations on not only a great hunt, but congratulations on just getting to go. Bear hunting in Alaska is one of my top tier dreams. I'm probably the minority in that, but I've oftentimes said, and I've never been on a grizzly bear hunt, been on several black bear hunts. But I've oftentimes said, if you put a 350-inch bull and a 400-pound black bear next to each other, and you can say shoot one or the other, I'm shooting the bear. I love bears. I think they're really cool. I mean, they're just I hate trying to sound too poetic, but really it's like a majestic animal to me. It's just like, I mean, they're big, but they're so quiet and so agile and just really cool animals. And so the pinnacle of that for me is brown bears, grizzly bears. And so congratulations for even getting to go, much less having it turn into an epic lifetime adventure. For sure. Walk me through it, man. Give me the story.
Yeah, man. So, got connected with Ray and we figured out, hey, let's make this happen. And, I was choosing, I've never been on a grizzly bear hunt in Alaska. So I was like, I love archery hunting. That's probably my favorite, but I'm a gun hunter also. I'll do whatever's necessary to put myself in a better position to kill a mature animal. But I took my bow. I really wanted to do it on a bow hunt for a grizzly. So that's kind of like the epic hunt, right? A grizzly bear with a bow. So, grizzly bear hunting in general is a little bit of a different hunt than what you're probably thinking it might be. It's actually not very physical at all. So most of the time it's just sitting on a glassing knob, and we went in spring and it never got dark. So we're on that glassing knob for 13, 15 hours straight glassing through binos. And, it like 1 o'clock in the morning's rolling around and you're like, well, it's still light. We can still see. We're still glassing. At what point do we go to bed, right? When do we sleep? Yeah. And a grizzly bear could come out at any time. And just to give some reference on this type of hunt, it's not like there's 30 grizzly bear in every area. Like there's like one boar grizzly bear per square mile, maybe, right? So it's like a needle in the haystack type of thing where you don't want to miss your opportunity. Maybe that bear like comes out on a face for 20 seconds and then he's gone, right? Like you don't want to miss that opportunity. So like, it's really hard to put the glass down and to go sleep or to get some food. Like you want to be glassing the whole time, and which was a challenge in itself. My eyes are tired. I'm not used to staring in glass for 15 hours straight, like a few hours at a time, no problem. But that was a challenge in itself. So we didn't, we're seeing black bear up there day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't see a grizzly bear till day 6. And then, made a move and made it happen. So, but, looking back on it, obviously this is going to be a story that I tell forever. And I appreciate you having me on the podcast, and it's an experience that I'll have forever. And I love the fact that I have a film out on it, that I captured it so well that my grandkids can go back and look at their ridiculous great grandpa Kurt doing dumb stuff in Alaska. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, just kind of going along with the story. So it's funny how things, I don't know if you ever had this happening in hunting or in life where like things foreshadow what is about to happen. So we're up there on day 5 and no grizzly bear, and that's just hunting. It's a 10-day hunt, no big deal. But we're getting kind of restless and kind of bored. Like the glassing knob's 100 yards from the tent, so it's not like we're moving anywhere. And you don't want to move anywhere, just so you know. Like you don't want your scent to be around anywhere. Like you want to keep your scent as small as you can in as small a zone as possible. You don't want to go traipsing around the mountains looking for grizzly bear, because you could be walking up a mountain and then 3 days later that a bear crosses your path and can still smell you, and boom, they're gone, right? So we want to stay put. But I would say about day 5, we decided, let's go in this other area. Let's go on a little bit of a walkabout and check things out. And let me back up a little bit more. The day before, in the same area, we saw a black bear sow and 2 cubs run down in this drainage. And about an hour to 2 hours later, we saw the same sow and 1 cub run out. So we're like, I bet you that cub got eaten by probably a grizzly bear, right? So the next day we actually go into this area and we cross this stream, creek, whatever you want to call it, river, pretty hairy. I mean, it was moving pretty high, a little bit hairy in itself, but got over into this area and we found fresh grizzly bear crap. And we didn't know it at the time, but we'd actually bumped them. It was a breeding pair. It was a sow and a boar breeding, and they were just locked down in this little drainage. We couldn't see them. And so we ended up bumping them to probably half a mile away. They may moved. And then the next day is when we spotted them. So that is something that happened. Like if we didn't move from our glassing knob and go over that drainage, we probably would never have seen a grizzly bear, but we ended up bumping them out so we could see them and glass them the next day. This was kind of going to prelude to the situation that we're in. I'm not the type of guy that, I love archery hunting, but I'm not the type of guy that's like, man, I got to kill something with a bow. If I don't kill something with a bow, then it's not even a hunt, right? Like I'm not that guy. There's some guys out there, cool, do your thing, all the power to you, but I'm okay killing something with a gun. So I had a bow, no handgun. My videographer Chase obviously is just running camera, no handgun. We have a packer there, Eric. He had a 308 bear gun. My guide Ray also had a gun. So I was talking to Ray, like, look, man, if and we're talking about how dangerous is grizzly bear hunting with a bow. And he's like, yeah, if we get in a situation where it's just too dangerous, let's have you use my gun, and that way we don't endanger everyone's lives, right? So I'm like, okay, let me dry fire your gun, because I've been in that situation where I've used the guide's gun and didn't dry fire at first, and it was a hair trigger and went off before I was ready. Ended up wounding the animal. So I dry fired his gun a few days before. So now fast forwarding back to boom, we spotted a grizzly bear about 2 miles off. We make a plan, make a move, or we get over to there. I'm bow in hand. We're about 300 yards away, and at this, from the last time we saw him, because we lost sight of him, right? At this point, I start to realize we're going through all this like choked up brush that's way over our head, right? Whatever it might, I don't even know what kind of brush it's called, but anyway, just thick stuff, right? Nasty. I can't see 5 feet in front of me because it's so thick. And I'm realizing, wait a second, this is dangerous. Like this is the first time in my life I've been on a hunt where I'm like actually feeling danger. Like this, like a grizzly bear could be 20 feet from us, we wouldn't even know, and decide to take us out, that they want to fight instead of flight, and we would be in a really bad situation. So I'm starting to feel that danger creep in. I'm like, oh man, all right, this is a new feeling. Let me push this down and aside and keep moving forward. So have you had that, Dylan? Have you ever been in that situation? You're feeling that feeling?
Yeah, man. When you're walking through a wheat field in the morning and a pheasant flies between your legs.
Are you from Kansas then?
I am from Kansas. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from Nebraska, right? You just said wheat field and a pheasant, right? Like, yeah, I've had plenty of those.
Dude, there's nothing in the world. Like, I mean, you're going in pitch black, and there's frost on the ground. That pheasant holds tight and it flops between your legs and flies up. Like, dude, you got to check your drawers a little bit. Like, yeah. And I'll tell you that it's funny because I was born and raised in Arkansas, and we didn't have pheasants. And the very first time I ever, when I moved to Kansas, the very first time I ever went out, real cold morning, real frosty, and I didn't know, like, you could step on these birds pretty much, and so, dude, it's like I was on my back, just like, what the heck was that, bro? Like, freaking out. And but no, I have never, and here in Kansas, you've had guys sitting in their tree stand and mountain lions come by and then they're walking out at night and they have that same feeling. No, I've never been in the real predicament where I thought, like, I could die here. I had some close encounters with black bears, but I even bumped into a black bear on accident one time. Like, literally, I'm walking through in Maine, and it's so thick in Maine, you can't see into the trees at all. And I'm walking through this path that's just wide enough for me to walk down, and I brush against the butt of a black bear and it takes off. And I couldn't even see it. Like, even after it ran, never could see if it was big. I mean, none of that. But even still in that moment, it's like, well, he's gone. Like, he's scared. Like, I never. So no, I've never been in that moment where it's like, dude, I'm going to die here. Like, I'm not going to make it out of here. Other than the pheasants.
It's a different feeling, man. I've never felt that. Like, I do a lot of mountain hunting in the Western states, and we have black bear, mountain lions. And I've never felt like, this is a dangerous situation with another animal. I've been in dangerous situations where I've been cliffed out or doing some dumb stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing, but it's not like nothing's coming after me. But, like, I know there's 2 grizzly bears. So when we spotted a grizzly bear, there was a boar and a sow. I don't know if I said that. So we know there's 2 of them in the area within a few hundred yards. We don't know where they went. We're in brush choked stuff where I can't see 5 feet in front of me, trying to be as quiet as possible. But at any point in time, we could bump these grizzly bears and it'd get pretty wild. Right. So just to kind of push that feeling down to keep moving forward, that was the first inclination of, like, oh, this is different. This is something that I haven't felt before. All right, now things are getting real. Like, I've been on the grizzly bear hunt for 6 days, but all I've been doing is sitting on a knob looking through binos. Now we're really in their kitchen, and now we're really grizzly bear hunting, right? So, right, yeah. So we keep moving forward, and we get to a point of, like, I don't know if we should move forward anymore. We haven't got eyes on them. The wind's decent at this point, so we think the wind's okay, but we don't know which way they have moved. So we're going to get up on this next knob and just kind of look. So we go up on the knob, and we spot one of them bedded down about 130 yards from us, down in this little bowl where it's not no brush, right? Like, it's in a grassy knoll type of thing. And so immediately I'm looking around like, all right, what's the play? What's the stock? How can I get close with a bow? We don't know where the other bear's at, which is a dangerous situation to be in, right? We don't see the other bear. We know it's close. And the situation we talked about even before this, which we revisited, is like, look, we have 2 bears. You shoot the boar, even if you have to make a good shot on that boar, he's going to run off in the brush and die, or not die, maybe wound him, or he's hurt, but that sow is not going to leave him. So you're for sure going to be contending with a live grizzly bear and maybe a wounded one in all this brush that we can't see. That's just a very dangerous situation, right? So we have that in the back of our mind, and there's just no way really to get any closer with 4 guys, right? Me, videographer, the packer, which is like the second gun, and my guide. And the wind wasn't strong enough. So anyway, long story short there, like, Ray's urging me to shoot it with a gun. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably the best situation. If it's just me, man, I may try to do it, but I don't want to endanger everybody else, right? I'd feel terrible if we got in there, someone got mauled because I had to go kill it with a bow. So last second, I'm like, all right, let's use a gun. So I grabbed this gun, and we're trying to locate the other ones. We're set up on this little knob. At this point, we're about 110 yards away, trying to locate the other one. And the other one stands up and comes over to get a drink of water. And immediately I know it's the boar. Like, you can tell just the masculinity of this thing walking is probably one of the coolest moments that I've ever had out in the wild. I mean, Alaska's pretty amazing in itself, just the vastness of it. But then you see this masculine, beautiful animal, walking down to get a drink. And I'm already set up. I'm on my butt, elbows on my knees with this brush gun. it's not like a sniper rifle, not like a long range gun, right? Like it's a high powered gun, but it's got this little like 5-power scope on it. And it's designed for protection. If a grizzly bear is charging you, that's what it's designed for. It's not designed to shoot distance, and it's not distance anyway. But, so I've got Chase, my videographer, over my right shoulder. I've got Ray over my left shoulder, which is our guide. And then Eric, the packer's, over Ray's left shoulder. So there's 4 of us on this knob. We're a little bit exposed. He comes out, he goes to take a drink, and his head's down in the water, and he's kind of quartering to us, facing us, but it presents a good opportunity to take a shot right between the shoulder blades, right, down through the back of the neck. So Ray's like, yep, I like that shot. Why don't you take that shot? And ahead of time, I told Eric, our packer, which is the other guy with the gun, I said, look, man, as soon as I shoot, go ahead and shoot. Like, let's get lead in this thing, because I don't want him running off and dying in the brush. Right? That's just a bad situation to be in. So let's just try to get as many rounds in this guy as possible. So I squeeze one off. Eric immediately shoots right after me, and Eric's shot flies high because the bear's moving at that point, and it kicks dirt up behind it. So the bear, they're both scared. Dirt gets kicked up behind them. They think there's something on the other side of them. So they take off as an escape route, but their escape route is now right at us because of that second shot. So they're running right at us, and there's a bunch of brush out in front of us. So we're 110 yards, and grizzly bears can move, especially when they're scared. So they are hauling tail, right? They are coming, but I can't see them because they're in the brush. So by the time they break brush to get to an open part, they're probably, 40 yards maybe away, coming right at us. At this point, I jump up to my feet. We're all scrambling around. Chase and Ray are trying to get behind me and Eric. Me and Eric move forward. And I know, like, looking back, it's not like they're running at us to come kill us. That's not their objective. They're just trying to get out of whatever. Yeah,
they don't even know you're there yet. I mean, they don't even know you're there.
Mm-mm. They don't even know we're there, but it's a bad situation, right?
We 100%.
Coming at us. Yeah. So I recognize he's the front one. So I yell front one, and I take a shot, hit him. Eric takes a shot, hits him. We re-rack, reload. He drops. The sow's still coming at us. And at that point, she realizes and sees us. So she's coming at us. She sees us, and she's about 15 yards from us. And we just re-racked. I got 1 bullet left in the gun. I think Eric's got 1 round too. And at that moment, like, you can almost like lock eyes with her, right? Like, I'm looking at her, she's looking at us, and I could tell she's making a decision right there and what to do. Does she move forward 15 yards and attack, or does she run off? And man, last moment, thank God she chose to run off. I mean, for many reasons, right? Like, even if we shot at 15 yards, she's there in split second, and a bullet in a split second is not going to kill her. She's probably going to mess someone up pretty good. And now we're just probably be scrambling, right? So that's the worst situation. The other situation, let's say we did shoot and kill her. Now there's a big investigation of Game and Fish, right? Like, they got to come in, confiscate everything, investigate what happened. So that's just a really bad situation. But thank God at the last second, she decided not to come kill us, and she ran off. And me and Eric had enough whereabouts to recognize she's not charging anymore and hold off that shot and allow her to flee.
How close were you to pulling the trigger on her? I mean,
my finger's on it, and I'm aiming again. And I'm like, for me, everything slows way down when I'm in situations like that. Like, a second may seem like 10 seconds to me. I don't know why. That's just my adrenaline. Everything slows way down, and I actually get calmer and my decision making gets clear. So I'm recognizing, is she coming at us? Is she moving off? So in that split second, I recognize she's moving off. So I didn't shoot. But dude, if she would have probably taken 3 more steps, I would have shot.
Man. And for people who don't understand that, 2-3 more steps is literally half a second. Like, that's not, it's not like she's jogging. So is she at full sprint right now at 15 yards?
Yeah. Full sprint.
Oh my gosh. How many of you pooped your pants Like,
oh my gosh.
what was the percentage of hunters on the mountains that had to change their drawers after this?
Well, I don't think anybody actually physically pooped their pants, but everybody was shook. Everyone was shook. Yeah. And I usually have a good adrenaline burst after I kill an animal anyway, no matter what animal it is. I shake, I get adrenaline that gets running through me, but I was definitely shaking after that one.
But you hardly didn't even have time. I mean, you're talking from the time you killed your bear to this. I mean, this is just split seconds. This isn't.
Yeah. From the time he dropped to her making a decision not to kill us was probably 2 seconds.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and my guide, Ray, awesome guy. Love him to death, man. Afterwards, and she's around. It's not like she ran off a mile away. She went off in the bushes and watched, right? And we just couldn't see her. We know she was around. So we're all keeping our head on our swivel, right? Just making sure, keeping guns loaded. And afterwards, I was like, hey, Ray, you want this gun back? And he's like, yeah. Give me my gun back.
Yeah. Yeah, you take your bow there, Mr. Archer.
Yeah. He's like, I've never in the 30 years of guiding ever given up his gun. That's the first time in 30 years. And he's like, I will never do that again.
But it worked. I mean, it worked. You did your job.
Worked. Yeah. Yeah. And Eric, Eric's ex-military, I think he's Marine. So like his Marine instincts kicked in pretty quick too, in a situation like that. You could just tell. And we did a good job, man. We protected, right? Like we dropped him and made a good decision not to kill that sow, split second. So
I might've missed this in the story. Your first shot, you said Eric's first shot was a miss behind him. Was your first shot a hit? Does he already have a bullet in him?
No.
Okay.
I missed.
So no bullets in the bear. They're just running from it towards you. Gotcha. Okay.
And, man, I don't know why I missed. I look back at it like, God, how could I miss at 110 yards? Like, I've killed things at 500-600 yards. No problem. 110 yards, but like, it is what it is, right? I missed. It went right over the top of him. Whatever mistake I made. As hunters, we're going to beat ourselves up, and I beat myself up. I'm like, how did I miss that? But playing back and I didn't think I missed it at the time. I thought for sure I hit him, but playing back the video, like it literally like brushed his fur over the top and missed. So it is what it is. I missed, but we were lucky he ran at us, to be honest with you, to kill him. Because if he would have ran off, we wanted to kill him. So, everything happens for a reason, I guess, right?
I hate playing that game too of like, how did I mess up? Where did I mess up? Like it's what hunters dread of. Like it because it's not just like oh man, I missed, it seems like everything. And obviously you got the bear, you killed him, but when you miss and you don't get a second chance, you don't get to kill the animal. It's hard to not fall in that trap of like, that was my one chance. I blew it. Like there it was and I blew it. And I'm actually in that moment today. I shot a nice buck last night. Crazy cool buck comes in, and it was honestly a super low pressure hunt. Just went and sat against a tree at my in-laws. Like wasn't even planning on shooting a deer, honestly. The kids wanted to go out and see grandma and grandpa. And so I'm like, well, I'll just go sit against a tree. And so, I was sitting out there, and this super old, cool warrior buck comes in. I mean, giant antler on one side, and then literally like a 2-inch fork on the other, like crazy cool buck. Yeah. And I had made the decision this year, and to kind of echo your stance of like, it doesn't have to be done one way. Like you don't have to do it with a bow. I had made the decision this year that I'm only going to hunt with my recurve. And I'd already missed one buck this year, shot right underneath him. And that buck came out at 22 yards and kind of a quick situation. He was grunting, chasing through some does, and stopped him at 22 yards and made the shot and hit him right in the shoulder. And I was like, gosh, dang it, man. But the arrow stayed in him, tracked really good blood for 800 yards, and then lost him. And I think the deer will live. But again, like now all last night and all today, you're like, dude, that was it. Like that was my chance, and I blew it. But to echo your point of like, it doesn't have to be done one way. Like we don't have to do it with one piece of equipment. Like I've made the decision, and I had made the public statement of like, I'm only hunting with a recurve, but I'm also not stupid enough to say, okay, I've missed a buck, I've wounded a buck, I'm going to keep hunting with a recurve. Like I'm going to put the recurve down. I'm going to get the compound out. I'm going to go out and shoot an animal. Like that's what's going to happen. I'm not giving up. I'm not a quitter, but like that, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that.
No.
And if I make it till we're doing this on Monday, rifle season opens on Thursday. If I make it to Thursday, I'll pick up a rifle. I don't care. Like I'm a hunter. I'm not a, so yeah, I do want to share that with the listener of like, don't get caught in one idea of like, what has to be my bow or nothing. Like, and if that's you, like, listen, everybody knows I live in the world of Pope and Young, and I get to meet guys who are like, I'm going on a once in a lifetime sheep hunt and I'm taking my bow and no guns with me. Like if that is you, great. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I've seen so many people become bitter and angry and mad because they're trying to do it with a recurve, they're trying to do it with a bow, and they just haven't got it done. Like it's okay to pick up another piece of equipment that you're more confident in, that you're better with, that you know, that gives you a higher percentage of chance to seal the deal. That's okay. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And ultimately, I think the thing to really look at is it's your choice, right? Like, you know, there shouldn't be any judgment on on a choice you make. If you choose to, nope, that's it, I'm only hunting with a recurve, I don't care that I missed one and wounded one, I will not put the recurve down. Cool, man. That's your choice, right? Yeah. It's how you want to go about it. If you choose, no, I think I'm going to pick up the compound and I just don't feel the confidence with a recurve. Cool. It's your choice. It's your hunt, your choice. You do it how you want. There's just too much judgment out there, man, nowadays, you know? Yeah. So yeah,
100%, man. And that's something, you know, last episode, we talked a lot about perspective and realigning our perspective and getting back to why we do what we do and just falling in love with it again. And I've already made the statement that whatever deer I shoot this year, I don't care if I shoot a 170, I'm not posting a picture of it on social media.
Nice.
I don't want people to see it. I don't want people to know. If I shoot a fork and horn, I don't care. Like I'm not going to shoot a fork and horn, but if I shoot a 170, I don't even want to post about it because, man, so many times we fall into this short-sighted self-comparison of, well, they shot a bigger buck than me, or everybody else is shooting, you know, 140s and 150s, and I shot a 120. Like, I don't even care. Like, I don't do this because I want other people to say like, oh, Dylan shot a nice buck with his recurve. How cool is he? I do it because I love to do it. Like I do it because it's part of who I am. It's part of what makes me who it's what I'm passionate about. And so kudos to you, man. Because I've been in similar situation. I've actually been in this exact situation where we've got a bear at 200 yards last night of the hunt, Idaho backcountry bear hunt, and we're not going to close the distance. Like there's no terrain features where I can get close enough with my bow. And the guy's like, you want to use my gun? No, man, I either want to do it with my bow or not. And now looking back, I'm like, how stupid was that? Like that was stupid. I'd rather have a giant mega bear on the wall than to say I did it with a bow. Like, so kudos to you, man.
Yeah, man. And kind of still on that point is like, even if you choose to say, no, I don't want your gun, and either I do it with a bow or I don't do it at all, props to you, whatever. Like that's the way you want to do it, man. Who am I to judge your decision and how you want to hunt? Like, you know, for me, it's all about the experience. Like the kill, if I get a kill, that's just some icing on top, man. That's awesome. That's just a complete experience. But for me, it was, man, I really just enjoyed being on that glassing knob and enjoying Alaska, you know, seeing moose. We went and did some shed hunting after we killed the bear, found some big moose paddles, you know, just enjoying the scenery. It rained for 2 days on us, just enjoying that even, you know, like just enjoying the entire experience of being either in the woods, on a mountain, in Alaska, wherever you're hunting, just soak it in. And yeah, to your point, like you don't need to post it on social media to get some kind of reward or accolade or whatever it is. Just, and if you choose your experiences, look, my experience is only with the recurve. Great, man. That's your experience. Yeah. If you choose, no, I want to use a gun now. Great. That's the experience you want, whatever. Yeah. You know, so.
Well, and you know, it all comes down to that of like, the experience is a lot cooler to punch it. Like, I shouldn't say the experience, the accomplishment is a lot cooler to do it with a recurve. But the beauty of this is like, again, realigning our perspective is like, I'm never going to go back and, when I'm 70 and telling stories to my grandkids and showing them trophies on the wall and say, but I shot that one with a compound. Gosh dang it. Like, that's never going to be the outcome of this. So like, why do we get so caught up in the quote unquote accomplishment and forget the experience? You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at in my life. And, I'd like to say it takes maturity, and not to toot my own horn, but it's still a journey for me. I still make immature decisions when it comes to hunting. But I'm sick and tired of as soon as the arrow goes through the animal, you start thinking about what kind of pictures you're going to take. You know what I mean? Like, just enjoy the moment. Like, how about you don't even take a photo? Like that, wouldn't that be cool? if you just lived in the moment. And I'm talking to a guy. Listen, I'm talking to a guy that literally produces TV shows for a living. That's what he does to make his money. But wouldn't it be nice to just walk up to the deer and just be in that moment, rather than, well, we got to wipe the blood off. We got to get the tongue back in his mouth. We got to set our bow up to where the sponsors are happy. We got to make sure 2-0 is visible. We got to listen. I play the game. I know. I live in the world of hunting media. I know the game, but I've just sat there and thought, like, man, wouldn't it be so nice for one time to just walk up on the deer and just be in that moment and not have to worry about anything else. Like it was when you was a kid, Yeah.
No, man, to that point, I have two things I want to say to that. One, I really enjoy trying to entertain somebody else. So if I can take an epic grizzly bear hunt like this that 99.9% of other people on the planet probably aren't going to be able to experience, and if I can do it in a way where I can pull them in when they can experience almost like they're almost there, I love that. Yeah. That makes me so happy to make someone else almost experience that experience. So that I love it. And on the other side of it, there's some times that I'm like, I'm going to go out on my own without a cameraman, without any kind of camera, cell phone, nothing. And I'm just going to experience the outdoors with myself. And if I kill something, I'm not going to take a picture. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to sit by the animal, soak in the moment, skin it, quarter it, pack it out, whatever. But, there's moments like that too, where I just want to have my own experience too. So there's two ends of it for me. I love entertaining someone, but I also love soaking in the moment of being outdoors too by myself. Yeah.
And again, it all goes back to finding your balance, find what you enjoy. There is you don't have to answer to anybody else. Like if you post a bunch of pictures of it, you don't have to answer to anybody else. If you don't post pictures of it, you don't have to answer to anybody else. Find your balance. And for me, that was I used to film a TV show, and I hated carrying a camera equipment. Like I hated going in and trying to film. I was the epitome of what outdoor TV should be, because I was the guy that cameraman's like, I'm not on him. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. Shoot him anyways. Let her eat, baby. And so I was the epitome of that. And I'm like, this isn't for me. Like I can't do this. And so for me, the balance is I'm going to go out and hunt without any cameras rolling, do what I want to do, enjoy my hunt, and then talk about it on a microphone afterwards. That's my balance.
Oh, yeah. I like that balance, man. Yeah, that's nice.
So again, you don't have to answer anybody else. Find what you enjoy. I mean, there's so many guys out there. I've been on hunts with guys who they don't even have a social media. They don't have a TV show. But they still self-film their hunts. And if they can't get the deer on camera, they don't shoot it. Like they don't put it on TV. They don't put it on social media, but they want to have that to remember and show their kids. That's the choice they've made. Do it. Yep. Like that. If that's your balance, if that's what you enjoy, do it. If that's what adds to the experience for you, do it. I could care less to have the kill on camera. That's just me. My wife, if she goes out and hunts, she wants to film it. Not film her, film the shot. She wants to see the shot. She wants to see the arrow go through. That's what she wants to do. Great for her. That ain't me. And don't ask me to film for you, honey bunny. That ain't me. Guys, one of the easiest and cheapest ways to upgrade your bow is with a custom set of strings. A lot of people make custom strings, but very few people do it as well as dominant strands. Now, the reason I believe they do it really well is because Lewis over there at Dominant Strands, he has years of experience in the industry. His customer service is phenomenal. He offers an incredible wide range of different materials to build your next set of strings out of. And he just knows archery. Lewis is the guy, if I've got a bow that I just can't figure out, I call Lewis. He is incredibly informed, and he's ready to help you build the best set of strings for your bow. Go to dominant-strands.com and get your next bowstring today. Now, I tell everybody, the moment you get a recurve, the best and cheapest and easiest way to make that recurve faster, quieter, and shoot better is to get a custom string. Lewis makes a phenomenal string for a recurve. Guys, go to dominant-strands.com, use code typical10 to get 10% off your entire order, whether that's a set for your compound, a set for your crossbow, a new string for your recurve, any material, any colors. That code is going to get you 10% off your entire order. Dominant Strands, go check them out. So, back to the story. Sal has ran off. You know she's still there. You've got a bear down, a bear over here that's watching your every move. You've changed your pants. Now what?
Yeah. So, I mean, we did all the pictures, right? Did all the pictures. Now we're cording him up, skinning him, cording him up, and taking care of him. We hike back to the camp. This is another crazy thing that happened. That this is actually a little, for me, even more scary. So we get back to camp and we put the hide in a snowbank and kind of like let it air out and cool it off to make sure it's good. And, you know, we eat dinner, fantastic dinner. Like Ray had some steaks out there and some like homemade bread. So we ate it up, and Chase is out there with a big old moose paddle he found as his TV tray, just having a great time, like soaking it up the moment, right? We go to bed, we wake up the next morning, and we go out 30 yards from our tent, and there's grizzly bear tracks, fresh. And we're like, oh, what is going on here? That Sal had followed us back 2 miles back to camp, and she was probably smelling him and following his smell all the way back to her camp to figure out, where did he go? You know, I smell him. He went this way. I'm going to follow him. Right. So
now, stupid question. How do you know it was that Sal?
I mean, my assumption is there is no other grizzly bear in the area. And the tracks came from the direction that we came, like almost followed our tracks.
Gotcha.
To our camp. So that's just the assumption that we made, right? Is like, okay, that's probably Sal was watching. When we're done, she went to try to find him again, found his smell. Even though she's smelling us, she just followed his smell back to our camp and realized, oh, he's no longer here or dead or found a hide or whatever. She moved off, thank God, and didn't come into camp and raise a ruckus. But, you know, that's a little scary too. We're sleeping and there's a grizzly bear 30 yards from our tent at some point in the night.
Yeah, that probably made sleeping the next night hard.
Yeah, well, we actually, once we found that, everyone grabbed their handguns and whatever weapons we had, and we were on some kind of like little island in the middle of this basin, and we just went around the whole island making sure she's not in the brush, not there, and then found her tracks and followed those tracks where we knew, okay, she moved off, gone. Like she's gone. So it was okay.
So did she mess with any meat, any hides? Did she?
Nope. Her tracks came in to basically come in the front end of the camp, and then it just skirted around the edges of it and just took off. So I think she had smelled him all the way back, realized, there's humans and there's a camp, and she moved off.
Yeah. How close were tracks to tent?
30 yards.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that is terrifying, man. Grizzlies are a different creature. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, I've been in grizzly country, and hunted, where grizzlies are seen, but not, they're not prominent. You're not going to run into them often. And, even the parts of Montana I've hunted in, like guys that have lived there for 20 years have, we've seen two, in 20 years. It's not like, it's not that big of a deal. But even in those situations, you have that like in the back of your head of like, there could be grizzlies in the area, but to wake up and know, like, homegirl was snooping around my tent. Like,
yeah,
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah. Well, and I think that grizzly bears in Alaska are different than grizzly bears in Montana, Wyoming, right?
100%. They're wild. Like they're, everything in Alaska is just a little bit more Western, a little bit more wild.
When I actually think the grizzly bears in Montana and Wyoming are more dangerous than the grizzly bears in Alaska because you hunt the grizzly bears in Alaska, right? They know humans are predators and they're danger. The ones that aren't hunted, that's the dangerous ones. Like they have no reason to fear a human.
Yeah.
I think that's really where it comes to be super dangerous. Obviously Alaska is dangerous in its own realm. Like, for example, I'm from Colorado. Any spot in Colorado, any place in the mountains, I don't care where you're at, as long as you're not broken leg injured, you can hike out in a day. In a day, you're back to your truck and back to civilization. Alaska's not like that. We're 70 miles deep. Like what happens if something goes wrong? We're not hiking out. If we wanted to hike out, that's going to take a week to get back to a road, right? Like that's a long hike. So, or you have to wait for a bush plane to come in and get you. So that's just a little bit of a different ball game, man. It's a different playing field than the Western states.
Man. Yeah. Alaska is a different animal, man. And, it truly is the most remote you can be. It's the most, alone you can be. And to your point, you're looking at animals, you're chasing animals that might have never seen another human ever. Mm-hmm. Like that is, again, going back to the experience of it all. And like, going back to the fact that like, man, these bears, have been living back here and maybe never have seen another person. Maybe they have, I'm not saying there's a chance that these animals have never seen another person. The only grizzly bears I've ever seen are in Yellowstone and they see more humans than I see humans. And so it's like, that's another different layer to this whole experience of like, man, I just went to places and walked in places that very few people go to and walk in. And these animals have never experienced, they've never stumbled in a camp where there's still coals burning in the fire and, Kurt's dirty socks hanging on the dry line. Like they've never experienced that type of stuff, man. And to me, that's more, and I do get your point. I do get your point that like bears in Yellowstone are used to people and they don't view people as scary. But then you get to the point of like, those bears are more curious because they're seeing and hearing things and smelling things they've never smelled before. So they're going to be more curious. They're going to be more, they're going to be more intrigued into like, what is this going on over here? And, I don't know, man. I will say you have lived a lifelong adventure, dream of mine. That is even just to hunt in Alaska. I don't even care what we're hunting. We could hunt, field mice. I don't care. But to be in Alaska hunting, is a dream of mine. And then to me, grizzly bears, brown bears, that's the pinnacle of Alaska to me.
Ray made a really good statement and it's on the film, towards the end is, a hunter is like, you do some hunting, I do some hunting. You're hitting Western states, you do some whitetail stuff in Kansas. Like we have a fire that's in us that loves to go out and have an adventure, a hunting adventure. And that fire may be like a pilot light but what Alaska does is like wind blowing on that fire and igniting a huge fire after that, right? Like just giving that fire a ton of fuel. And I felt that too. It's like, I've always been the type of guy that loves being as remote as possible. Like I just want to be somewhere where no one has ever been. That's where, I know that's really few and far between, especially in our Western states here in the United States, lower 48. But like Alaska is that, like you get to Alaska, man, like now that I've been in Alaska a few times and hunted there, like our Western states are nothing, like whatever, it's like a calm little kitty cat to a mountain lion. It's Alaska's that. You got to get to Alaska and experience that for sure.
Yeah, it's a dream of mine, for sure. Now, what else have you hunted in Alaska?
Yeah, I did a mountain goat hunt on Kodiak Island, and then I've done a caribou hunt on Adak Island. So this was my first like intercoastal Alaska hunt, and man, I love it. Just from like, that little small Cessna ride, little bush plane, which is basically like a kite with duct tape and an engine, right? Like there's nothing to those things.
That was scarier than the grizzlies.
But I love that experience, just being on the little plane, and the pilots were really cool. Like we're flying and it's like, oh, look, a black bear. And he just completely banks hard left and just going right at the mountain. And obviously they're experienced guys, right? Like, oh, look, a black bear. I'm like, yo, you're going right at the mountain. Like we're going to fly into it. And last second he banks away and like does his thing. But like, just that experience, super cool. It's super cool to like, there's a big lake and we're at the toe of a glacier. And so, that glacier is who knows how many years, maybe millions of years. We don't know, right? Thousands, millions, whatever, old. And and then after we killed that grizzly bear, we spent a day just going like shed hunting and finding moose paddles and exploring, man. It was amazing experience for sure.
So the reason I ask, in your other Alaska adventures, did you ever see any grizzlies? Was this your very first encounter with grizzlies, or had you been around them, seen them?
This is the first time I've ever seen a grizzly bear in real person, besides in a zoo.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've seen him in a zoo one time. And then, this is the first time seeing him in the wild. Was that moment through the glass, right? Like, which is different. Like I glassed him up, glassed it to him. Like, I think those are grizzly bears. They're 2 miles away. I see like these big, fluffy, brownish blonde blobs walking around, right? Like, but to be sitting on that knob, watching her, now we know it was a sow sleeping. It was actually one of the cutest things I've ever saw out on the mountain, like just big fur ball sleeping with her head on her arm. She'd pick up her head and just kind of like stretch and go back to sleep. Super cute. And then him standing up and just the pure masculinity of him walking over to get a drink was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced, out in the wild.
And what you just said about bears is why I love them so much. Like if you, take grizzlies out of it. Even if you're sitting over a bait barrel in Colorado, or I don't know if baiting's legal in Colorado, if you're sitting over a bait barrel in Idaho, and just watching bears and the way they interact and the way they're playful animals. Like they're, just getting to watch them, you're like, dude, it's such a majestic, cool animal that can close. You've experienced can close, 200 yards in a matter of seconds. Can climb a tree in a matter of seconds, like can walk through the woods in a way where you can't ever hear them and know they're there. Like it's a dangerous, cool animal, but then they're just like so playful and fun. Like, and you watch them and that to me is what is most intriguing is like you watch this bear go over and suck blueberries off a limb and then scratch its back on a tree. And, me and my wife, I took her on a bear hunt and we're sitting there watching this bear eat, and chipmunks would run by and he was swatting at chipmunks, like playing whack-a-mole with chipmunks. And just, it's so, they're just so playful and fun. But then you see the other side of it where, another bear walks by and it runs that one up a tree because it doesn't want it to get close to its girls. And like, they're just such a cool animal, man. And, to me, part of the appealing fact about bears, and this is not a commercial to go bear hunting. I know that's what it sounds like, but to me, part of the appeal about bears is like you could shoot a giant mature whitetail here in Kansas and it be 7 years old. You could shoot a giant mature bear and it be 25 years old. Like it's lived that much longer. It's seen that much more. It's been through that much more. Like it's just such a cool animal, man. I love bears.
They are, man. And to your point, like I've been black bear hunting and did the whole bait thing and watched them. And it was super cool to watch them under your stand within, 15, 20 yards from you. I had one look up my, almost start walking up my ladder coming up to my stand, and then they're just super curious, right? Like, but they look cute. They're just fluffy and like, like I want to go give them a hug, right? I want to go like cuddle with them, and then
you almost had the chance.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And then they'll rip your face off in a split second. Like, they're very dangerous, right? Like it's a very polarizing thing, which can be real dangerous, especially like, to people that may not hunt and not be experienced in the outdoor world and understand that, like, nature is not a Disney movie, and they don't want you to come cuddle with them. Right. So for someone that doesn't understand that, like, just actually see the raw nastiness of nature, of like watching a boar kill a cub so he can breed the sow again. Like, that's some nasty stuff. Like, nature is not Disney by no means,
Yeah. Yeah. And that, to me, that is what has made our Western states so incredibly dangerous, is the Disney mentality. I mean, they have, and it's so funny to me, dude. Like, it's so comical. The bears are talking in the freaking movie. It's not real, but they get this idea of like these animals just live in this majestic, cute world where nothing ever happens bad and everything's great. And Cinderella feeds the mice and they help her get dressed in the morning, and they're so kind and loving. And then you see all the Yellowstone videos of like people trying to feed the bears Oreos out of their hands. And like, seriously, like, what are you thinking, dude? Like, and not even bears, like bison and elk. I mean, those animals will kill you, like
easily kill you.
Easily kill you. I mean, but again, like, we've painted this picture in society of like, no, we're the bad guys, the ones that kill them and hurt them. Nothing bad ever happens to them out there. Like, nothing bad ever goes wrong out there. And then then you see a fawn that is being choked out by a coyote, and you're like, okay, well, like, that's graphic, Yeah.
Yeah. Or like a predator eating a prey before it's dead. Like, they don't kill
100%.
They eat them while they're still alive, right? Like, crazy, or like, freezing to death, starvation, disease. Like, the only good death in a prey or any animal will have is when a hunter kills them. Usually that's going to be a quick death. That's the easiest, best death that animal could have. And I know that sounds barbaric, but that's the truth, man. Like, out in nature, if you're going to die, if you're an animal and you're going to die in nature, it's going to be a really horrific death.
Yeah.
And
and pretty much every way. I mean, either you're going to, not make it through a brutal winter and die very slowly, very painfully. You're going to get a disease, and, they ain't got the animal doctors like in the Disney movies where they can prance over to see the animal doctor and get fixed up. Like, they're going to die of disease. And that's what breaks my heart the most about that deer yesterday is I believe it's going to live. But with how deep, like, obviously it was bleeding a lot for 800 yards. Like, I do think infection will probably set in, and it's probably going to die a slow, painful death because of that arrow. And I'm sorry to the animal. I owe the animal better than that. The animal deserves better than that, but you're absolutely right, man. And, I was on a bear hunt in Montana. My boss lives in Montana, so we were just staying at his house, and my whole family came and just stayed at his house, and we would go out and hunt in the evenings. And my boss said something at the house about following fawns. Well, we'll follow fawns and we'll find the bears. And my teenage daughter piped up and she's like, what do you mean you'll follow the deer and find the bears? Like, didn't understand. And he's like, well, fawns are just dropping, so bears are going to be eating them. And she was like, just couldn't understand that. Like, couldn't understand these little baby elk and these little baby deer are walking around and the bears are trying to kill them. And we're like, yeah, I mean, that's the reality we live in. Like, that's how these bears live. And so then for her, it was like, okay, now I understand why we kill bears. Like, now I understand why we bear hunt to save elk and deer. And I understand why we, that to me is the biggest thing that you can teach people and show people as a hunter, the reality of nature and the role that we play in it as hunters.
Right. And there is no going back. You know what I mean? Like, I understand like the let nature run its course with predators and prey. that's a great theory of like, okay, we have wolves in the landscape, we have grizzly bears, we have coyotes, we have foxes, whatever. When they deplete prey so long, then they'll starve and that population will go down. It's a natural ecosystem and a natural balance. But humans are on the landscape and there's nothing you can do about it, right? We're not just going to go away. So even if there's no hunters, humans have now integrated into their territories. They're, like hikers, or the pressure of human living with the animals. And like, I believe without the resource of hunters, of that money, we would not be able to conserve their habitat to give them life. Right.
That's true.
A better life. So.
And like you said, we're still going to be in their bedrooms for, mountain bikers, hikers, campers, photographers, whatever. We're still going to be in their bedroom. So that's like telling a bear, hey, you still have to live in the mountains, but you can no longer kill any deer. You can no longer kill any elk. Well, then what are we going to do? Like, how do we survive in the system if we can't be the hunter? If we can't, and to your point, that's to me the biggest issue. And I am by no means, I've got several friends who are wildlife biologists who listen to this podcast, and they're going to call me as soon as I say this and tell me how stupid I am. I'm by no means a wildlife biologist and understand all this stuff. But the fact that it has ran its course, the wolves are gone. There's a reason they're gone. And now we're reintroducing them. Like, there's a reason these areas don't have wolves anymore. And now we're reintroducing them. It's not smart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same page, right? Like, and selfishly, I don't want competition hunting things that I like to hunt, right? Like, I don't want wolves depleting an elk population or a moose population here in Colorado, because our moose population is amazing right now. Why would I want that to happen? And, if ballot biology happened and now we have wolves in the landscape, okay, it is what it is. And we've always had wolves here in Colorado anyway, just not a lot of them, right? They've been here. Is now they're getting placed in here by humans.
But it's just so funny that we say on one hand, we got to let it run its course. It has ran its course. Now we're going to put more wolves back in there because the wolves are gone.
Right. And as long as there is a management system to the wolves, cool, whatever. As long as we can manage the prey, and they're not going to be listed as an endangered species forever, like grizzly bear are in a few of those states, right? Like, not a good idea. Once they hit a population, you need to manage the grizzly bear, because not only is your ungulate population going to go down, but also it's pretty dangerous to humans that are now in the landscape more than ever, hiking, mountain biking, camping, fishing, whatever you want to do. Right. So, yeah. I know we're going off on a tangent and down a rabbit hole on conservation, but it just needs to be spoke about, man. And, more people talking about it. Hopefully some non-hunters will hear this and understand and just become more educated about it. Right.
Yeah. Now to take a step back to the bear hunt, what was your biggest takeaway? Not memory wise, but lesson learned wise from this hunt?
Man, that's a good question. I have not looked at that. Lesson learned. Well, obviously I have a lot of amazing memories that I'll have with me forever, but probably my lesson learned is being more humble.
Yeah.
That I'm 110 yards away from a grizzly bear, with massive grizzly bear, pretty easy shot with a rifle. That's a slam dunk. That's a no brainer. That's super easy. Right. And that was my mindset. Like, yeah, this is no problem. This is super easy. I'll kill it. No problem. I didn't. And I need to be more humble in the fact that, no, I need to take this moment a little more serious and make sure that I put this bullet where I want to put it. Not only that, is maybe I need to practice more in those situations. Like, when's the last time I couldn't get to a prone position because we had too much brush in front of us. So I was sitting with my knees on my elbows, which I like that position. I feel confident in that position, but I was just overconfident. And I think I need to maybe practice some of those situations more and be a little more humble in that moment,
Yeah. And I want to further that, not only humbleness as a hunter, but just humbleness as a person. And I'm not saying you're a prideful, please don't. That's not my point. But when anybody, I don't care who you are, and let's take Alaska out of the picture. When you are put in the backcountry of Idaho, Colorado, Montana, anywhere, and you look around and you can get a view from the top of a mountain, you realize how small you really are. And you realize, man, the world don't revolve around me as much as I thought it did. And then, you know, talking about getting to Alaska, that's a whole nother level, dude. And you realize, dude, this is the world is so much bigger than just me. And there's so much more outside of the world that that short-sighted little vision that all I have is my vision of the world right here where I see it, and my wife, my kids, my home, my family. Mm-hmm. Man, the world is such a bigger place. And so not only humbleness as a hunter, but that's why I wish more people would go on backcountry adventures, because it really humbles you as a person to realize, like, I'm not as big as I thought I was, man. Like, and I'm not talking about the humbleness of like, dude, I hiked 47 miles and couldn't breathe. And, you know, I'm not talking about humbling you as an athlete or as a person, just realizing, man, the world is such a big place. And truly, I play a pretty small role in it. Like, that's the truth of it, you know? And so, yeah, I was curious to hear what your biggest takeaway from that was.
Yeah, I would say that's probably what was standing out for me most is that moment. But to your point of playing a small role in the world, here's the biggest thing I take away from any adventure that I go on is, in between adventures, I'm all locked down with to-dos and stresses and family stuff, and, you know, got to make enough money to pay the bills. And there's a lot going on in life where you're sucked into your own little circle of just crap, to be honest with you. And most of it doesn't mean anything. Most of it isn't even important. Right. So when I go off on an adventure and I get deep into a mountain or the woods, it's very cleansing for me, where my priorities get realigned very easily, where I realize none of this stuff that I'm stressing about actually really matters. And I can refocus with things that really matter, like my relationship with my kids, my relationship with my wife. It's really probably the only two things that really matter.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very cleansing into that fact where there's not very often you can go somewhere and just sit and think for 15 hours straight, right? Or 8 hours straight. Like, when you can do that and you're away from your day-to-day life, it's a pretty cleansing thing, and you can get pretty clear-headed pretty fast. So when I come back from an adventure, I feel like and I don't know if that's part of the nature thing, or, you know, there's a lot of things you can dig into there of, cleansing of the soul. But when I come back, man, things are right, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, you know, that's one of my tips for outdoorsmen and hunters. And I know it sounds really funny, but like it's a I don't want to say law of life. What am I looking for here? It's a good rule of thumb for any area of your life to get your house in order. What I mean by that is, like, if I want to go out for 10 days, if I really want to enjoy those 10 days, it's to leave having known that, like, man, you know, all the to-dos my wife wanted me to do, I got done. I took her on a date first. You know, I spent time with my kids first. Like, I can leave and enjoy knowing that, like, my house is in good order. And when you're there for those 10 days, it's like, man, I'm here to I don't have to worry about what I left undone at home. I don't have to worry about the projects I didn't get done at work. I don't have to worry about, I got all that stuff done, and now I can just do this. Like, I don't have to worry and stress, and my mind doesn't have to be full of stuff. Like, I paid my bills before I left. I took care of got my wife's oil changed and her tires rotated, and, like, I can just be here and just hunt. And I know it sounds funny, but, like, I have found that makes a trip a lot better. And I've been on hunts with guys who didn't do that. And then they're getting texts from, you know, on the inReach from the wife about, like, hey, did you ever set that appointment for this week? And now they're like, crap, I forgot. You know, now they've introduced stress into the hunt. Like, if you just take care of all that stuff before you go, then yeah, you get a full 10 days to just unplug and not worry about anything. Not, you know, it's just me here on this mountain with these animals. Like, yeah, it makes it a lot more enjoyable, man.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, man. Because you want to be present. You don't want to be thinking about your life back in the city or whatever you're out in nature, man. Like be present and enjoy it. Yeah,
absolutely. Now I took a long hiatus from this, but I started last episode asking you your number one tip. Now, your number one tip to be more successful in the woods. So I'll say, like, with the seasons we're in, it could be late season whitetail, it could be waterfowl, it could be pheasants and quail, it could be you name it. But what's your number one tip for the listener right now to be more successful in the woods?
I'm going to say mental toughness. That's my number one tip. You don't have to be the best hunter. You don't even have to know how to hunt, right? You don't have to have the best gear. You don't have to have the best rifle and the bow and like be able to shoot a million yards away. Like the only thing you need is stay mentally tough and keep pounding the stone. Like if you're elk hunting, just stay in the field. Be tough, stay in the field, keep working. If you're trying to learn how to whitetail hunt better, guess what? You're not going to be an amazing whitetail hunter after one season. It's going to take a few seasons. Just be mentally tough about it and just keep going and just keep pounding that stone until that stone breaks. Yeah.
My tip for this time of year in the whitetail woods, it is bitterly cold and snowing, and you're sitting in 0-degree weather and dumping snow. Focus on food. It's a simple tip, but think about it. The deer have just went through, we're just getting off the second rut, still kind of there a little bit, but second rut is in, there's a few does still in heat. You still see some bucks chasing. But they've just come off the hardest month of their life. They have neglected their food. They've neglected their sleep. They've lost a bunch of weight. They're tired. And anytime I get done at the gym, what do I want to do? I want to go pound some calories. Like, I am hungry. Nothing's better than a big beefy leg day and then 2 large pizzas afterwards. Like, that's it, baby. You want to replenish the food you've lost. Same with the deer. They've been running and gunning for a month. They want to be in food. So focus on food. Sit the food the long, cold days, and you will kill deer in the late season. Dude, this is actually my number one time. If you want to kill a mega giant whitetail, it's right now. This is, for me, they're the most predictable. They're the easiest to hunt right now. Their noses are easier to trick because it's frigid cold. So you're not producing as much scent. They're not smelling as well. So right now, for me, is the number one time. They're super predictable and they're easier to trick right now. So don't give up and just think, oh, well, the rut's over. Like, I've missed my chance because the rut's over. The rut is honestly one of the hardest times to kill a deer. So sit those long, cold, snowy days over food and you will be successful. Kurt, where can we watch the film at, my man?
Yeah, it's on our YouTube channel, Western Obsessions TV. So just go check that out. And obviously, I appreciate being able to talk about it here on the podcast. So keep listening to the Typical Sportsman podcast. And as you watch the film, if you're looking at Kurt and you're like, man, that camo pattern is sexy. It's 2-0. Go check it out.
Yep. You will. I've not introduced it to somebody and they said, now listen, I can say this because I don't care what Steve O. DiMarino has to say anyways. I understand there's a lot of great companies that make a lot of great clothes. I understand Sitka makes great gear. QU makes great gear. King's Camo makes great gear. Like, there are companies that make phenomenal gear. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I have yet to introduce one person to it and they say, yeah, but it's not as good as Sitka. Yeah, but it's not as good as QU. Yeah, but I think I'm going to go back to my Kings. They might choose to go somewhere else, but it's not because they thought the gear was lesser of quality. I've not found one person. And what I can say is I've not found one person, and then they realize the price is a lot better, and it's a no-brainer. Guys, check out 2-0. You'll be happy you did. Kurt, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, just I drew most of my stuff on Instagram, which was Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So just look up Western Obsessions TV. You'll find me. And hopefully we entertained you with this grizzly bear film, and you'll watch a couple more videos and films out in the future.
Absolutely. Guys, go check them out. Western Obsession. Kurt makes phenomenal TV. I admire dudes who can produce films well, because again, I'm not one of those guys. I cannot make a hunt look appealing. I suck at it, Kurt. Let's just be honest with you. I'm not great at it, but you're guys that can really do it and do it well. And we've had several of them on the show that just produce really, really good films. And I'm always, just blown away by these dudes who are successful hunters and filmmakers. Your Jason Matzingers, your Sam Soholtz, your Kurt Beldings that can produce these. Not even TV. Like, I don't even want to say TV. I mean, films, like productions. Those guys that can do that, I admire. And I sure enjoy watching them. So Kurt is definitely on that list. Go check out his films. They're absolutely beautifully produced. They're awesome. What's your cameraman's name again?
Chase. Yeah.
Chase. Yeah. I met him one time at Western and he did some filming for me and, walked around Western and did a little bit of filming and, he does a phenomenal job, man. Just a great点And so, your films are always just a joy to watch, man. And,
thank you.
Again, that's something to say because to not only go on the hunt and be successful is one thing, but produce a good looking film out of it. That's a whole nother thing, man.
When I tell you what, Dylan, I know we need to get going, but I just wanted the viewers to know that we spend a lot of time and energy thinking of how to film something to entertain you guys, right? So Chase and I, we're actually partners in the TV side of Western Obsessions. And before the grizzly bear hunt, we probably spent countless hours trying to figure out how to film it in a way that's more entertaining. And then obviously countless hundreds and hundreds of hours of editing and going back and forth and changing this, changing that. And it's all that work is not money. Like that doesn't make money for us. All that work is just to entertain you guys. We just want to entertain you guys.
Yeah. So the least you can do, it's completely free to go watch the film. So go support it and help them, share it, send it to your buddies. Help get the films out there. These guys that put out these films on YouTube, it's completely free for you to consume. It's completely free for you to support. And I am passionate, very passionate about outdoorsmen supporting other outdoorsmen. I don't even care if it's another outdoorsman owned business. I'll tell you what, if I got two electricians, one of them's a hunter, one of them's not, I'm going to support the hunter. I'm passionate about supporting those who support you. So go out there and watch the films, share them. Again, it's literally completely free to support that. So go watch them, go support them, share them, hit the like button, follow button, subscribe button, all that fun stuff on Western Obsession TV so they can keep making these films and keep entertaining you. Guys, if you like to build arrows or work on your bows at home, you have to know about a little website called papertuner.com. I have a little studio here, a little space here where I work on all my bows, and big paper tuners just used to take up all the space. You couldn't hang them anywhere nice and neat. They took up a lot of floor space. And then I come across papertuner.com. What you get from papertuner.com is an all-in-one solution to paper tune your bows. They come with all the magnetic strings, all the clips you need. You can hang it up in a matter of seconds, take it down in a matter of seconds, hang it on the wall. It is a phenomenal way to paper tune your bows. However, they also have incredible arrow spinners. They have arrow stands. If you don't have a place to hang your paper tuner, they even make tripod mounts so you can mount it on just a regular old tripod. Guys, papertuner.com is a phenomenal solution for little shops that just don't have a lot of space for a big old paper tuner. Guys, go check them out, papertuner.com. I promise you'll be glad you did. Guys, thanks for listening. Have a fantastic week and keep the dusty side up.
Dylan, thanks, man.